It's the separation of the women and the men that's quite fascinating.
In Islam, there is separation of the sexes. That is across the board. That is established Islamically and by the Prophet, peace be upon him. The males will be here, the females will be here. Even families, integers of families, do not congregate together when they come for assembly. The men, the males, sons, the daughters, women.
Curious as to why the women couldn't be filmed, but the men can.
You don't need to understand nothing.
So we don't need to understand?
No, we don't need to take pictures of the sisters.
No, we're just trying to understand why. If you could explain that to our viewers.
You said why?
We don't understand. We just like an explanation.
Nah, we just follow notice, that's all.
We can have
Don't worry, we just follow notice.
No filming of the sisters.
That's it.
No filming, no interviewing of the
I know,
sisters.
we just, our viewers would like to understand why. It's a cultural gap that we don't understand. It's part of why we're here.
I'd refer you to someone else to speak to in reference to that, but I'm just telling you, I'm just following orders. Okay?
Could you please?
No filming of
Who
the sisters.
could we speak to?
No filming of the sisters, no interviewing.
Who could
of
we
the
speak
sisters.
to?
You can speak to one of the imams. Okay, inshallah, they'll tell you why.
Could you have? Thank you. We're trying to understand the cultural significance of the separation of the women and the men and why the women cannot be videotaped. And we're trying to get an explanation, but one has not been forthcoming.
I don't want to be on video. Put me on there.
We're just trying to understand the cultural reason why. I thought that's what this was about.
I'm going to ask you to move on this side, okay? By the men, please, just go on this side, okay?
We're just, I know, we're just trying to find our viewers are interested as to why. We're not going to view.
Okay,
we're not going to video.
You can talk to the men, though. You can talk to the men, right?
Is there an authority that we could speak to?
Yeah, you're speaking to him on this side, sir.
No.
On this side, please.
Is there an imam that we could speak
Sir,
to?
you're speaking to him.
Okay.
Okay. Could you explain?
In what
I'm
area?
explaining to you that you can interview the men, leave the women alone.
Alhamdulillah.
I know we're not. We've got our camera this way in respect to your wishes. We're just trying to understand why.
On this side.
Okay. You can explain over here.
Explain it to you. They'll explain it to you. Ask one of them. Ask this brother right here. Ask him. Ask him. He'll tell you all about Islam. Right here. Ask him.
Okay.
Sorry.
Excuse me, sir. Can we interview you for a moment? This gentleman said that we should speak with you. Apparently, it's very difficult to get an explanation for the cultural reasons for this. We're trying our best to understand. Maybe someone will explain it to us. Maybe they won't, but I'm getting a sense of hostility.
I wouldn't be surprised if you interacted, or if you had the opportunity to interact with a lot of ladies here, they would feel comfortable.
Well, at this moment, we cannot do that.
Understand, men and women don't interact together. Number one, you're not a Muslim, so you're not even really supposed to be. I'm saying, if you're not a Muslim, you're really not supposed to do some of the things that you're doing.
We're instructed not to do that.
You know that,
I
so
understand.
it's no problem.
That's what we're trying to understand is where that comes from. That hostility. Any personal issues being a female healer working with male Muslims?
No, not at all.
Should be listening to the imam, so it's no interview. It's Juma. They called their dance, yeah, it's no interview.
I didn't know they
Okay,
established
inshallah. Yeah.
Shukran,
Okay.
shukran.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's just the attitude issues. That's what you're getting.
That's what we're trying to understand.
No, attitude. You don't understand attitude?
Well, I see it, I'm experiencing it, but I don't understand it.
I'm going to have closer to her.
You're just bumping into all kinds of...
I think we're bringing our un-Islamicness onto you.
How do you feel about the separation issue?
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Number one, these Catholics, you ain't got no business talking to them.
Excuse me.
I told them to stop filming because we busy. Sister, I'm speaking to them, but you ain't got no business talking to them. They're
You
Catholics.
don't know who I am.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
I said they're Catholics.
What is?
I understand that, but sister,
Who are you to tell
What
me
does
who I
kafir
am?
mean?
sound like a
Move for me.
What does
Move,
kafir
you know,
mean?
Ouch, move. Step off. Step off. Shukran. Shukran.
What does kafir mean? Is that a derogatory term?
Yes, very much. Well,
Can you explain that? I want to make sure my understanding is the same because
what's your understanding?
that is a very derogatory term
Okay.
and it was very disrespectful. It's about as disrespectful to another person as you could get in this setting.
Well, again, as I will agree, it is derogatory in the use of how he just came and approached us in
He
conversation.
was rude to you as well.
And that's why I did admonish him and put him in his place.
Journalists, you should understand your ethnics, right?
That's why we
You,
moved back.
thank you. But you moved back only after I said something to you. The brother said something to you earlier. Okay?
The woman approached us.
I don't understand. Under
So we're
journalistic
trying
ethics,
to understand.
under journalistic ethics, you should be a little bit better than that than to try to do a story. If I came in your place of worship and did something like that, would that would?
This is a public venue.
But right now they're having a religious service right here. Do we are they speaking Spanish? They speaking Arabic, and they told you on more than one occasion. So let's be respectful.
Well, she approached us.
Sir, one more time. Maybe you're not understanding English.
Apparently
Respectful. Okay? All right? Thank you.
So we're okay here?
Yeah, you okay here.
Okay. Thank you.
Before you go on an assignment as a such, do some research on the matter so that way you won't come in ignorant to the facts of what's going on.
Well, that's why we're
Ignorance
here
is
to
not
try
ignorance
and
is no
learn.
excuse.
No, he said the woman we were talking to had limited knowledge. You know, and the guy before that said that the guy we were talking to had limited knowledge. I suspect if he comes here, he'll say that you have limited knowledge. There's a lot of limited knowledge going on around here.
Islam is freedom, justice, and equality.
I'm sorry?
We'll not be doing the interview right now. You can do the interview after.
You're a misunderstander.
We outside of it.
Yeah.
Interrupt that.
These gentlemen are misunderstanders of Islam, according to this guy. We can't interview here. I was just called a kuffar.
Well, that's just
you know, like a disobedient.
Limited.
Yeah, of understanding.
It's
Discriminatory.
It's a work in progress.
It's discriminatory.
But the
like
Just calling it like I see it.
Is that discriminatory?
disrespect.
Like they were talking about the time when they had racism. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, that's how I
It
feel.
may not always be like that.
But it is now, and it makes me feel
Well, we're striving.
marginalized.
You ever try to get in the synagogue?
Discriminatory is not bad.
Discrimination's not
Not
bad.
necessarily.
Okay. We were asked to move back to the back of the room. We were experiencing peace and love. Apparently, a kuffar is just an unbeliever. However, we'll explain deeper in the series the cultural significance of that comment in the context in which it was said. Thank you.